teapot drifted lazily along behind a small herd of cakes, like a shepherd tending its flock. Every so often, a small stream of fragrant herbal tea would pour out and flow along a random course before ending its journey at one of the two cups that were positioned relatively near their respective owners. Fluttershy had long ago gotten used to the rather cavalier state of physics during weekly tea time with Discord, who was quietly drinking from his own cup while upside down. Gravity had taken the afternoon off, so everything in Fluttershy's living room was gently bobbing about. Fortunately, the rehabilitated Draconequus was long since learned to put things back where they were. It took him a little bit longer to get the hang of putting them back in all the right dimensions, of course. There was a few troublesome months where Fluttershy's couch would occasionally be left missing for a few hours before she could call Discord back to retrieve it from whatever in the fourth dimension he had left the thing. Nevertheless, Fluttershy was incredibly proud of his progress. "I'm quite certain, dear Fluttershy, that you are incorrect on this matter," Discord finally rebuked from his position a few degrees acute of the leftmost corner of the room. "Rainbow Dash certainly has all the skill of a Wonderbolt, but I would be lying if I said I thought she was ready to work as a team. She is too brash. Maybe in a year or two." "Oh, Discord, you know as well as I do that she just needs a chance." Fluttershy quietly defended her friend. Not that she necessarily disagreed. Rainbow did have a pretty bad case of what her father called solo flyer syndrome. "I'm sure that Rainbow would thrive in a team environment just fine." Discord shook his head. "Maybe. And trust me when I say I'm as much of a fan of throwing a wrench into the gears of a well-oiled machine as the next Spirit of Chaos. But the kind of stunts the Wonderbolts would end up being the wrong kind of chaos. You know, the kind that ends in a hospital visit." Fluttershy winced at the thought. She appreciated Discord not going even further with it, though. It was rare, but a stunt flyer accident could lead to far worse than a few weeks in a hospital. Far, far worse. Something closer to home was bothering the yellow mare, though. "Discord, this is a little off topic, but are you all right?" Discord suddenly righted himself and met his host's eyes with a cocky grin. "Why, Fluttershy, whatever do you mean? I'm just concerned with the well-being of my good friend Rainbow Blast." Dash, same thing. Discord harumphed and went back to his tea, which was refilling itself. "You know," Fluttershy began carefully, "I only asked you because you seem uncharacteristically serious this afternoon, and concerned about her safety and livelihood. Not that it's, a bad thing, it just seems a little strange." Quiet Pegasus kept her face schooled carefully to an offensively neutral expression that conveyed care and concern without being too forward. Another trick her father had taught her, though she was nowhere near his level. He and Fluttershy's mother could hold entire conversations with a few silent looks, and often did. After a few moments, Discord let out a heavy sigh, and Fluttershy knew she had won. "Oh, very well," Discord said softly, with a snap of his fingers, and the entire room righted itself perfectly. Every piece of furniture immediately zipped to their proper places and settled in without a single care for the laws of inertia. "The truth, my dearest Fluttershy, is that I'm leaving soon." Fluttershy froze up slightly, but tried not to let the shock show. She didn't want to stop him from whatever little momentum he had let build up. Instead, she just said, "I see. And, where are you going?" "A very long ways away," Discord said softly. His voice had taken on a somber quality that was completely at odds with his normal rambunctious personality. "The truth is that I love Equestria, I love my friends and my place here. You especially, dear Fluttershy, has made this orderly place more of a home than I ever suspected." Fluttershy just nodded, silently urging him to continue. "But it is also true that I will never belong here. In the end, I need chaos. The same way ponies need love and friendship. As much as I came to care for you and the others, I'm a Draconequus. I will never be a pony." "But," Discord raised a finger to stem the tide of rebuke that had built up in the tip of Fluttershy's tongue. "He didn't use magic. He didn't need to. Besides, he would never use his magic so selfishly. Not anymore, at least." Hear me out, Fluttershy, Discord said softly, his mismatched eyes seeming to become much brighter. I didn't say I was leaving forever. I fully intend to come back. However, I feel the need to wonder and express, and that's something I cannot do here and still keep my promises to you about behaving. Fluttershy felt tears springing up behind her eyes, but she quickly pressed the feelings back. How long will you be gone? She said instead. Discord gave a non-committal shrug. I'm not sure, but my reasons are more than just idly indulging wanderlust. For the first time I can recall in, maybe ever, I feel a purpose calling to me. That perhaps was more than anything shocked Fluttershy out of her worrisome mood. How many times had Discord repeated the mantra that chaos didn't need a reason to happen, or a purpose behind it? That was the wonderful point of chaos, he would say. It's for this reason that I, Discord, am going on sabbatical. With a snap of his fingers, Discord was suddenly wearing a dated old tweed jacket, the kind that a pony with tenure might wear. I intend to find another Chronicus. True, I never heard of another one, but then again, I never looked or listened. I can't help but wonder if there are more, or if I am truly the only one. But I do wish to find out, to satisfy my curiosity. That's not something I can do in Equestria, I'm afraid. Fluttershy felt as though her heart was about to burst with emotion. Lots of emotion, sadness, joy, and pride were some of the chief among them. For the first time in their friendship, Discord wasn't just passively accepting that being friends was a good thing. No, he was finally appreciating it as something greater, something that filled a longing within him, and now he was setting out to take a whole new step, making a friend. Without warning, Fluttershy leapt forward, tackling into Discord and hugging him tight. The Draconicus chuckled as the feather-like Pegasus held on to him. There were tears, but there was also laughter. She was so proud of him. I'm going to miss you so much, Fluttershy said through a happy sob. We all will, even Twilight. You drive her crazy, but she cares about you a lot. I know, dearest Fluttershy, I know, Discord said softly as he petted her bright pink mane reassuringly. And I promise to return, even if I can't promise when. Nodding, Fluttershy stepped away from her friend and gave him her best smile. I know you will, and I wish you the very best of luck on your sabbatical, Discord. Ha! I am the Lord of Chaos, my dear, Discord declared. And I quite literally make my own luck. See? He held up a clover with 64 leaves. Pressing a hoof to Discord's claw, Fluttershy smiled up at him. Are you going to tell the others too? What about the princesses? Making the clover vanish with a twirl of his claw, Discord huffed. I've already spoken to Tia and Lulu about it. After all, I couldn't very well just vanish from under Sunbutt's nose, or she would think something was up. She has the means to contact me if it's really an emergency. As for the others, I was hoping you could break the news to them. For once, I think I prefer to leave quietly rather than with a bang, as odd as that might seem. Fluttershy shook her head. I understand completely. I'll gather them together tonight. I guess you're planning on leaving after our tea? Giving her another grin, Discord shrugged. You always did know me best, my dear. Well then, Fluttershy responded with a steadiness in her voice that surprised even her. I think we should make the most of our last tea time, even if it's only for a little while. They talked for another few hours, but both of them knew it couldn't last forever. After tea, Discord said one last goodbye, gave Fluttershy a gentle hug, and then left. None of the flash teleportation, or by leaving a replica of himself made of cotton candy and cat whiskers. Fluttershy never did figure out how he did that. Instead, he floated higher and higher till he was well above the Everfree canopy, and simply drifted away toward the darkening eastern horizon like a serpent through sand. Fluttershy stood watching his form become smaller and smaller in the distance. Only when he was completely gone did she return to her house and have a good cry. It took a lot out of her, but she felt much better afterwards. It was almost 6 in the evening when she left to gather her 5 closest friends to share the news. Fortunately, it was near the end of spring and the days were getting longer. Naturally, Fluttershy met Pinkie Pie first, asking her to get everyone together, and if she wouldn't mind if they stayed late at Sugar Cube Corner. Pinkie was curious, but rather than pushing for the why, she did as her friend asked. Twilight Sparkle was the last to arrive at the corner, having been caught up in an experiment. Rainbow was flitting around the room impatiently, while Fluttershy, Pinkie, Rarity, and Applejack were sitting at the table sharing a nightcap, as the evening had fallen in earnest. "Finally!" Rainbow huffed as Twilight cantered in Sugar Cube Corner, looking a bit frazzled. "We've been here for like an hour!" "Half an hour at most, darling," Rarity corrected gently as she took another sip of brandy. "You do have a tendency to exaggerate, my dear." "Yeah, you're just not moving as fast as me." Rainbow brushed Rarity's admonishment off with a laugh. "I'm always going twice as fast as every pony, so it was totally an hour for me." Pinkie Pie lifted the old-fashioned glass she'd been balancing on her nose and set it on the table. "Yep, that seems completely and totally sound logic to me." "I think that might count against you, Rainbow," Twilight remarked as she took a seat at the table with the other 4. Applejack laughed, chuckled as she poured herself another measure. "She's got you there, Sugar Cube. But now that we're all here, I confess to being a mite curious as to what it was y'all felt couldn't wait till morning to tell us about. Shall?" The eyes of all 5 of her friends turned to her. A few years ago, this would have been sufficient to drive her back into the recesses of her hair for concealment. Now, though, the looks on her friends' faces just brought her a warm sort of comfort. Comfort was something dampened by the news she was about to share. "Well, I suppose there's no reason to beat around the bush," Fluttershy began with a sip from her own drink. It was stronger than what she normally drank, which was rarely stronger than a glass of red wine from Barry's vineyard. Now, though, she was grateful for the stronger spirit. "During my afternoon tea with Discord today, he told me there was something he wanted you all to hear. And he couldn't tell us that himself. Why?" Rainbow drawled from near the ceiling. "Because he's gone," Fluttershy answered as low curtly. That got every pony's attention. "You, want to run that by us again, Sugar Cube?" Applejack's face was lost most of its good humor. "What do you mean, gone?" "That's not... Twilight stuttered, interrupting Fluttershy's response before reorienting herself. "That's a disaster!" she practically shouted, her wings fluffing out in distress. "We've lost track of this Lord of Chaos? How are we going to explain this to Princess Celestia? We're in charge of him!" Rainbow dropped to the ground in a crouch, with a hard look on her face that drew a frown from Fluttershy. "Don't sweat it, girls. I'll find him by morning. It's Discord. The dude isn't exactly subtle." Rarity coughed into a hoof demurely. "Kettles and pots, darling." "We don't have the time to cook anything, Rares." Rainbow waved a hoof nonchalantly. "We got a Road to Chronicles to find." Fluttershy stomped a hoof on the table. It was light and dainty in comparison to any pony else doing the same thing, but it was enough to silence the chatter. "Girls, the princesses gave Discord their blessing and have a means to contact him. I didn't ask you all here to argue about him. I asked you here because Discord just wanted me to tell you goodbye for him." The silence was deafening. Everyone stared expectantly at Fluttershy, who, now fortified with the remainder of her brandy, shook off the incredulous looks and continued forward. "He wanted to say goodbye himself, I think, but..." Fluttershy's face fell as she speculated. He hadn't said any of what she was about to tell her friends, but she knew him well enough by now. "No, I'm certain that the reason is because he knew that if he saw all of us together and he was telling us goodbye, that he wouldn't be able to bring himself to leave. I know that sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but he loves us all very much. I know he can be annoying, especially to you, Twilight, and to you, Rarity. And I know that the way he expresses himself is strange, but he does love us, more than he can really say. It's the same as how I know my animals love me. They can't say it, but they don't need to. They have their own ways of showing it." With every word, The girls' faces fell a little more. Rainbow especially looked ashamed. Applejack just nodded, her previous humor seemingly restored. I reckon he got a pretty good reason for going off then. Applejack gestured toward Fluttershy with her drink before taking another swig. Fluttershy nodded. He wants to try and make a friend. At this point, Twilight checked back in fully. Wait, seriously? The look on her face was indescribable, and Fluttershy flinched back. If she were to try to describe it, it was something between ecstasy, disbelief, and that brief expression of terror right after you woke up from a nightmare and realized you're safe and sound. She thought it wouldn't be too far off. That's incredible! But wait, why can't he do that here? Fluttershy gave a soft laugh at the look of confusion they were all wearing. Because of us, Twilight. We're his friends, but we're also ponies. Most of us will always fear him a little bit. He is Discord, after all. He told me he wants to try and find another Draconequus, if there are any, but more than that, he wants a little freedom. He can't be himself in Equestria. He knows that, and he respects that. But we can't ask him to deny his nature forever. Twilight chuckled slightly. I suppose you're right. Like you said, he is Discord after all. Soft sniffles, sounds from under the table, interrupted the conversation. All 5 of the girls peeked underneath to find Pinkie Pie, curled up beneath it with her hair flat. Fluttershy's heart went out to her greatest friend. Of all the 6, it was Pinkie Pie that had gone along with Discord the best, from their shared love of pranks and laughter. I'm sorry that Discord didn't tell you himself, Pinkie, Fluttershy said softly. Without waiting for a response, she reached down and pulled Pinkie's prone form into a surprisingly strong hug. He just couldn't bear to say goodbye to us. I think it would have broken his heart. After a few more sniffles, Pinkie Pie pulled away. Her hair wasn't flat and straight, but she was missing more of her usual poof. Wiping her nose with a handkerchief that Rarity had kindly supplied, Pinkie rubbed at her eyes with her forelocks. I know, it's not that, Pinkie said with a sad smile. I'm just sad I couldn't throw a going-away party for him, or even a hope you find a Chaos Lady and bring them back and make Chaos Babies party. Celestia forbid, Rarity muttered while Applejack gave a shiver of fear. I'm not even sure how they reproduce, Twilight whispered into Fluttershy's ear while blushing furiously. Fluttershy could only shrug weakly. But I'm sure he's coming back, Pinkie declared with more certainty than even Fluttershy felt. He won't leave for good, right? Fluttershy nodded. Yes, he said he would come back when he found what he was looking for. I'm not sure what that means, but I trust him. Applejack gave a hearty chuckle. I never thought I'd say exactly, but yeah, so do I. Pulling the glasses together, Applejack poured a small measure of brandy into each of them before taking hers to raise above the rest. To Discord. Wherever he wanders, may he always find his way back home. With a glad cheer, the rest of the girls seized their glasses and clinked them together.